Good morning. So exercise of the day today is glute activation and some hip opening. So the hips and the glutes work against each other. They are opposition muscles. So if we work one, we're opening up the other. So this is really good. We had quite a lot of people on yesterday who were talking about the, yep, you can see me, so that is all good. He was talking about the hips and loosening up the hips. I thought I'd carry on with that and get the glutes working at the same time. So I'm going to show you a couple of variations for each of the moves. So if you have got a sofa nearby, that would be handy for some of the moves. I can show you an alternative that, if that works for you, would be slightly easier. So there's a couple of different options on the exercises we're going to do today. What I really want you to focus on is squeezing the muscles of the glutes. So thinking about the bum, the buttocks, giving those a squeeze. If you're feeling it in the hamstrings or you're feeling it in the lower back, you are not working the glutes as much as you should be. You maybe don't need to lift as high, you maybe don't need to make as much, but what you really want to do is really focus on the glutes, really give them the squeeze. Yeah, make sure it's all there in those buttocks. Yep, sound okay? I'm going to stretch out the hips at the same time. Cool. So we're going to start. There's three ways actually you can do the first one. So we're going to start with a camel. So we're going to come into a kneeling position with our hands on. And I'm just going to show you the three variations that you can do. So we can either lift and squeeze and push those hips forward here. And if that's not working for you, like I said, you could use your sofa, hands on your sofa, lift and squeeze there. Or if you feel okay, we can tighten the toes and lift and squeeze there. Do whichever one works for you, whichever one feels better. Okay, so our timer is going to go on. So if you need to move towards something a little bit higher, go to something a little bit higher. Pop that timer on. Okay, so we're going to squeeze and down. So it's really squeeze the bum, push forward and stretch out the hips. It's not a quick move. So keep that going. As I said, if we want to come off a little bit higher, we can still get the same amount of stretch. We'll come down a little bit lower on those feet. Really squeeze into the bum. Stretch out the front of the hip. Again, you can do this off a chair. Really squeezing, keep that going. One more. And bring it down. Bring it all the way down to a straightforward glute bridge. So feet flat, about hip distance apart. Give the abs a little pull in, tilt the pelvis, drive the arms and the upper back down, lift, squeeze that bum, and lower. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And when you're at the top of the move, as I say, really think, squeeze the bum, squeeze the bum, squeeze the bum. So really give that bum a big squeeze. The hips will open up. But really focus on those glutes. Squeeze. You've got that little pelvic tilt already. So we've already tucked the pelvis under. We've engaged the abdominal muscles. So we tuck pelvis, squeeze up. We're really focusing, last one here, on that whole squeeze. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So if you struggle to feel the glutes working on the last one, we're definitely going to feel them here. So again, upper back, arms down, squeeze. Now really squeeze into the bum. Little pelvic tilt, abs in, squeeze the bum. So on this one, as well as getting the work through the glutes, we've got external rotation into the hips. So we'll open up the hip joint a little bit more. We're really, really, really squeezing the bum. We're going to tip, squeeze. bring it down. So tip, engage that core, squeeze into that booty. So engage the abs, pelvic tilt, squeeze. We're nice and still. We're using the upper back and the arms to ground us. So keep that going, one more. Now we're going to reach through, so I'm going to come a little bit further down the mat. So this time we're going to squeeze and lift up, and then we're going to reach across. Bring it down, pelvic tilt, abs in, squeeze, lift up, reach across. So pelvic tilt, abs in, squeeze into the glutes, and then we're reaching the opposite arm. So we're getting a little bit of spinal rotation, and a real opener into the hip. So pelvic tilt, squeeze up, reach across. Keep that going. Now we're going to do a tabletop bridge. So we're going to bring it up, feet flat. You're going to look at your knees, pelvic tilt, squeeze that bum. So just look at your knees, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the abs, squeeze the bum. And again, we're opening up those hips. So pelvic tilt. Now again, if this is too much on your shoulders or your wrists, pop yourself onto your sofa. We've got a hip thrust. So we can take the weight off the arms. Really thinking, like I said, squeezing the bum. And if you can't quite feel it, squeeze it a little bit more, one more. And bring it down. We're going to go to a one leg bridge. So all the way down. Feet flat. Get those arms in. Give me that pelvic tilt. Pop one leg across. We've opened this hip up already. We're going to squeeze. And down. So abs in, pelvic tilt, squeeze. So keep the hips nice and level. Really squeeze into this bum cheek. It should literally feel like rock. If you give it a squeeze, it's literally like rock, yeah? But we've got the hip opener. We've got the rotation through this hip. And again, if you can't feel it, you need to squeeze a little bit tighter. Don't rush it. Let's have one more here. And down, swap sides. So take it across, open up the hip. Again, upper back and arms in. Press, squeeze. Like rock, like rock. And down. So pelvic tilt, engage the abs. Squeeze. You can feel this hip open. We've got external rotation in this hip. We're really connecting. We're thinking, squeeze here. Then a little bit more, yeah? Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep it going. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. One last one. Now bring it down, feet flat. We're just going to do a pelvic tilt squeeze. So feet hip distance apart. We're going to tuck the pelvis under, squeeze the abs in. Just lift. And lower. So abs in, tuck the pelvis, and then squeeze the bum. So we're keeping the ribs on the floor. But again, here, light rock, yeah? Feel free to give your own bum a squeeze, yeah? So abs in, tuck the pelvis, squeeze. And hold it and squeeze it a little bit more, yeah? So tuck, squeeze. and lower. And again, abs in, tuck the pelvis, squeeze. You feel you've got that opening at the hip. Hips can't do anything. Got to get the glutes to work. One more, tip and squeeze. I'm going to bring it onto our side. So we're nice and long. I'm going to flex the foot, lift it up, and just turn the toes down. If we turn the toes down, you feel this bit comes on. Now I'm going to squeeze up and lower, not all the way down. Squeeze up. I want you to focus right here. Yeah? Squeeze. And squeeze it again, a little bit more at the top. Squeeze. Right there, right there, right there. And since we've turned the foot, we've made sure no other muscles can turn on and help lift the legs. It's got to all be done here. Keep that going. Squeeze. Squeeze. And again. Now keep that leg lifted. I want you to squeeze back. So again, we've got that toe turned slightly down. As it goes back, you squeeze in here. Right in there. Yeah? We're not just kicking the leg back. It's only moving because we're squeezing the bum. You should feel a little bit of burn. It should literally be a little bit burning now, yeah? Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And again, think, as you take the glute back, you open up the hip. So we're getting that opening through the hip, stretching out those hip flexor muscles. Squeezing that bum. Squeeze. And again, still got a little downward turn on those toes. One more, squeeze it back. We're going to keep it here off the floor. We're going to bring it up. So we're keeping the height, we're keeping that knee lifted. We're not swaying. Flex that foot. You'll feel the difference if you point the toes. You'll feel we take a little bit of work off. Make sure it's not hurting the calf though. Just keep a very gentle little downwards turn. So keeping that knee up off the floor. Keep that going. I'm going to repeat these on the other side. Last one. So other side. Let's flip it over. So we've got that lifted leg. We've got that little turn. Squeeze up. So again, we're squeezing right in here. Abs are in. We want a very slight pelvic tilt anyway. Remember, we're lifting, not throwing the leg up. We're really focusing on this muscle squeezing and lifting the leg. We've got a downward turn to the toes, so we really make sure we know where we're working. Keep it going. Really focused. Last one. Bring it in. Now again, we're going to squeeze that back. And all the focus is right here. Like I said, we're not throwing the leg back. We are squeezing into that bum to take it back. So squeeze. Squeeze that bum, squeeze that bum. Squeeze. And again, like I said, we're opening up the hip. Getting a little stretch into the hip joint. Abs are in. Keep it going. Again, you should be feeling a little bit of burn. That's fine. Last one. And keep it there. We're going to bring it up. Abs in. A little bit of a pelvic tilt. A little bit of flexion through the spine. Keep that foot flexed. Keep that going. So all that work through the hip as well. Loosening the hip up as well as working into the glute. Squeezing that bum, squeezing the abs, little pelvic tilt. So always got that core engaged. Last one. I'm going to bring it onto our front. Nice and relaxed. Legs nice and long. We think, squeeze your bum. Now your hips want to stay down on the floor. Squeeze the bum. So give me a little pulling on the abs, which will protect the lower back. And really think, right here, squeeze and lift. Again, like stone. And this time we're working one at a time. Yeah? Like rock, like rock. So squeezing the abs. That way the lower back doesn't pull in. Really think. Squeeze that bum. So again, we're not hurling the leg. We are squeezing to one muscle to make the lift. Last one. And there you go. That is your glute activation for this morning. Work the glutes, open up the hips. All good. Take care. I'll see you later. Bye.